Hi guys, I'm Tori Golden and I did the token economy for my best practices project. So, what is a token economy and what does it do? A token economy is used to increase desirable behavior and to decrease undesirable behavior. A token economy is essentially a way to reward the students for their good behavior by giving them points, stars, check marks, tickets, tokens, or any type of visual for students to exchange for a prize or something that they will want to receive. I know a lot of teachers do a money economy, so they will give them $100 at the beginning of the month, and then throughout that week or that month, the teachers will charge them for different things. So I know at the beginning of the month, a lot of teachers will charge to let them rent their desk and rent their chairs. So at the beginning of the month, the teacher may give them $100, and they will have to give them $8 to rent their chair and their desk. But then throughout the week or throughout the month, the students will have to pay for things such as staying off task or if they didn't turn their homework in on time, then they would have to pay money for that as well. But then I also know that you can get that money and give it to them as well as a teacher if they are showing the good behaviors and doing what they're supposed to be doing and staying on task. So this kind of is a give take system, just like the token economy. So the token economy allows the students to hold themselves accountable for their own behavior and allows them to track their behavior themselves. So it's more of a visual thing for them to be able to see how they are doing during the day. So, what students can benefit from a token economy? The token economy can be used for a whole general education class, but it can also benefit any student in accountability and appropriate behaviors within the classroom. It can be used for students who don't respond well to normal behavioral techniques. So, students who may not respond well to flipping a card or moving a pin or changing your color, this may be one of those systems to help them out, especially because you're not calling them out for their behavior. You're simply asking for an item from them. So, instead of embarrassing them and telling them, oh, move your pin down, you can be like, hey, can you just hand me a ticket? And it doesn't have to be something that you say in front of the whole class. It can be something that is very quiet and you just walk by and be like, tap on their desk and be like, hey, can I have that ticket? It's not something that needs to be vocalized to the class because it's their own independent accountability and what they are getting for themselves, you are taking away. So it's specific to that student. This system helps students with behavior challenges as well and reminds them what is expected, reminding them the reason as to why they need to show that appropriate behavior. I feel like a lot of teachers don't explain why they need to show the behavior or why they need to do something or why they need to stay on task. And I think that is very important in this type of setting because it also allows them to prove that they can show the behavior by getting and giving them rewards for doing awesome throughout the day. This system can also be used with students who have a learning disability or may struggle with hyperactivity. Um, it's just something that maybe the students may not be pointed out and been like, hey, you're doing awesome today just because they are hyperactive or because they have a learning disability. That's not something that needs to hold them back. So when it comes to behavior management, this is something awesome. So it could be like, you were just so great in helping a friend. Here's a ticket for being so awesome. And you just give them that ticket and it shows them that even though they might struggle with other things, that doesn't mean they need to struggle throughout the day. This is also useful in different settings. So if you're willing to communicate with different teachers that have them throughout the day or the lunch aides or just different adults or supervision that are with them throughout the day, this can be also helpful. If you explain to these different teachers that, hey, I have this classroom management in my classroom, and if they don't behave in this classroom, you need to let me know because then we will do our system in the classroom and they will have to give me a ticket for not behaving during this time period. So that will be able to help you utilize the system inside of the classroom and maybe outside of the classroom. The system can also be used for students who show great behavior in the classrooms but may act out during those times. So it holds them accountable during different times of the day. So, what is needed for a token economy? For a token economy, teachers can use many different objects to represent the tokens. This can be anything such as check marks, stickers, stars, marbles, money, or even tickets. I know a lot of teachers use tokens. You can get them at Oriental Trading and they can keep and then they can keep them and then return them and it's basically just a system where they're in and out so you're going to maintain your tokens. The other portion of the token economy is a strong structure of how the economy is represented. This can be where the students can see the class behavior and keep themselves accountable for the behavior. You also have to ensure that your system cannot be something that the students can change at home. So if you are doing a ticket system or a marble system, there has to be a way that you know that marble or that ticket is theirs and not somebody else's. So maybe just writing their name on it or signing off as the teacher on the ticket and writing their name on it may help just keep that in check. So I put some pictures just to kind of show you some different ways to utilize the system. A lot of teachers do use a punch card for superstar choices, which I think is awesome. But it also, I like to be more tangible with items. So the punch card would not necessarily work for me, but it might work for somebody else. So for the punch card, students can show an awesome behavior and the teacher will come around and punch a hole in their star. Or if they did their homework, they'll punch a hole in the star. And the students will write their name, and when their card is full, they will get a reward. This reward can be anything. This can be having lunch with a teacher. This can be 5 minutes of computer time during independent reading. This can be having your friend sit next to you throughout class. Just different things that maybe they will get to decide, and they will give you options of what they want to earn rewards for. So for that, I can earn a penny by. This system is actually very interesting. There's actually two other parts to it. There's you can lose a penny by, and you can give a penny by. So it's very interesting. I think pennies are a great way to show students different things because a lot of people don't utilize pennies ever. So this you could use them in your classroom. And obviously it's not a lot of money just to do that. So this penny system is I can earn a penny by, and they have all the different things such as helping a friend, making good decisions, and showing respect. And then as the teacher, you would give them a penny if they did any of those things. And then there's also you can lose a penny, so different things like you're not staying on task or didn't turn in your homework, they would have to give a penny for. I know a lot of teachers utilize Class Dojo and they have the points on their phone where the parents can access them at will as well. So I found one for Class Dojo, and this is if they have tickets or if they have tokens at the end of the week or at the end of the month, whenever the teacher may want to exchange those tokens, the students can go and pick a prize from that pocket in which they made those points. So I thought that was kind of neat. I looked to the right and there is a popcorn token economy, which I personally really, really like. This is awesome. It has the rules laid out. It has what they would love to see in the classroom. So ways to fill a bucket. It has all positively explained things for the students to do so that they can fill their bucket. And I really like it because it's more tangible. I'm a very tangible person, and I think it's a reward in itself for a student to get up and get the popcorn from the one bucket and put it in their bucket with their name on it. So I think that was really neat for students who are tangible like I am. So the procedure to a token economy, one, basically select the behavior that's rewarded. So what behaviors are you trying to reinforce? Are you trying to reinforce that they altered in their homework? Are you trying to reinforce that they did their job for the week? Are you trying to reinforce just regular behavior during independent reading? Like what are you trying to reinforce and what does that regular behavior look like? Number two, state the desired behavior in specific and observable terms. So for students, you want to positively vocalize this. You don't want to use cannot, you want to use the word can. So it is essential to them that desired behaviors be in those kinds of terms and not, oh, you cannot do this or you cannot do that. It's you can do this and you cannot do that, just so the students will have more of a positive outlook on the system. So number three, decide how you will measure the behaviors. So you can use this and do it by time, by percentage. How often will the student show the behavior? It's honestly up to the teacher's preference on what you would like to do. So four, decide where to monitor the behaviors. So this is like what we were talking about earlier where the students can utilize it inside the classroom and outside the classroom. So they can use it in their gym class, they can use it in their art class, they can use it during lunch, they can use it during recess. Where do you as the teacher want them to monitor the behaviors? Number five, select the initial reinforcer that is easy to administer. What will you give the student to keep their actions accountable? Will you give them tokens, tickets? Basically, what tangible item are you going to use? And how can you assure students do not steal or counterfeit them? So what can you use to make sure that these students are using tokens that they earn themselves, not what they took from another friend? Six, select your backup reinforcers. Have the students given ideas and tell you what they want to work towards. So in the beginning of the year, be like, hey, what do you all want to work towards? So you guys want to, what would you like as your rewards? Would you like to go outside for an extra 5 minutes of recess? Would you like to do this? Would you like to that? Would you like to have lunch with the teacher? Just different things that they want to work towards, not ones that as the teacher you are giving them. Because they're not going to work towards something that maybe you would work for, but that they would work for. Number 7, place a prize on your backup reinforcer. So make sure that there's a visible or a tangible item that they can constantly look back and see what they are working towards and how many tokens are needed to receive that award. So if you're giving them a piece of candy for every time they earn 3 tokens, then you need to have that written out in your classroom for the students to see. Place a value on tokens, which is basically give the tokens a value that is worth more now than in the future, because you can always utilize different things and change them. So say having lunch with the teacher is worth 30 marbles. If you use those marbles and they're 30 marbles, that's going to be really hard to reach because it's 30 marbles. But as the year goes on, it might be easier for them to reach that goal. So you can always like make it less or you can make it more depending on how the students are responding to that specific thing. You also want to make sure to have a wall chart that shows you how you can lose a token and allows when the students can be exchanged and how often. So you as a teacher want to decide, am I going to exchange these tokens every week? Am I going to exchange these tokens every 3 days? Am I going to do every Friday? It's really just up to the teacher. Number 9, start your program. So when you explain the system to the students, you have to explain it to them in a way that they will understand. Basically using terms that their grade level they would understand. With obviously younger students, you need to use those in more kid-friendly terms as to if you're using it with 5th graders, well, they will understand what you are trying to say. Number 10, periodically modify your system to wean your students from the token economy. Obviously, you don't want your students to be stuck on this token economy for the next 5 years of education. You want them to be able to utilize the system, change their behavior. Once they change their behavior, get off the token economy and just do what they need to do. You want that to become a normal behavioral routine that they express every single day without having to be rewarded for it. So this is the token economy. Underneath, I have my 3 questions for you all to look at. So number 1, list the steps and describe how you would use each step in your specific classroom. So basically write down the procedure and write down different things that you would use in your classroom. Number 2, look at how the system is implemented. What is the strength and a weakness of the system? Number 3, if you have a student in your classroom that does not respect the system and does not use correct classroom behavior, what can you do to change that system to make it work? So, thank you all for listening to my best practices report. I hope you all enjoyed the token economy and you will use it in your classroom.